sweet? Here you go. Oh, you're so sweet. Here you go. You're so adorable. Oh, you guys are so sweet.
Hello everyone, it's Shadow the Rat, and in this video I wanted to talk about how you can train your rat to not bite when you put food and your hands through the bars. So here you can see I'm offering my hand to the rats, they don't bite it, and I'm feeding them treats through there. There's no issue, they have never bitten me, and I have even trained several rats who would nip and bite through the bars to not do so. Often you'll hear people toting the saying that you can't feed the rats through the bars, you're going to teach them to bite through them. And this isn't exactly true because there are, of course, ways that you can condition the rat to just bite when you put something through the bars, but what you really want to teach them is to think before they bite. And the issue that a lot of people encounter is what they do is they condition their rat to always bite something that comes through the bars by only feeding through the bars, never sticking their hands in between, never sticking objects the rats can't bite through the bars. So the rat just thinks, okay, this is just the only way I'll get treats. So how do we go about teaching the rats not to bite when we put food through the bars or our hands through the bars? Well, this is actually really, really easy. All you need is a metal spoon of sorts, and you want to start out without anything on it, because in this case, we're just going to be teaching our rats that when we put something through the bars, they don't need to bite it right away. It's not conductive to whatever they want, which is just to get food. So you can see my rats are licking this right now because I have some meat baby food left on it, but if I were to stick this through as just a metal spoon, they would just go, oh, okay, it's a metal spoon, and even if they tried to bite it, nothing would happen. So you see, I just stick it in, and if you have rats that already bite through the bars, this is a good idea to do, because if you stick in the spoon, they'll learn, okay, I can't bite it. And right there was Latte trying to bite it for a second just to see what it was, and it's just, a spoon, so she can't really get anywhere with it. Now the next step is to put some meat baby food on your spoon, or some other liquid treat, because the goal here is that our rats learn to lick the treats coming through next instead of bite. So here I put it through, and my rats already know how to lick off meat baby food, but if your rats don't know this, then they may first try to bite it, and you just need to hold it there until they have licked it clean. So repeat several times, just sticking in something metal without any food on it, like the back of my spoon here, and then sticking in something like meat baby food on a spoon to teach them how to lick it. And after a while, you'll notice that your rats will immediately sniff and then lick whenever you put anything through the bars. And in this case, now you can start offering your fingers through the bars. If you're still nervous, you might want to offer something else, like a plastic ruler or something else, just to help the rats associate that things coming through the bars aren't meant to be bit. So in this case, I'm not worried at all. My rats are already very used to me sticking my fingers through the bars, and I'm going to stick my finger here through the bars without anything on it. You can see they're not going to bite it, and now I'm going to stick my finger through with a little bit of meat baby food. And they're just going to lick it, lick it, lick it. And if you repeat this enough, sticking your finger through with something like meat baby food, sticking your finger through without anything, you're going to find that your rats quickly learn to always check what they're biting before they do so when it comes through the bars. Okay, so now what we're going to do is start feeding solid treats through the bars. And this is a bit of a harder step because your rat is now going to learn that things that they do need to bite are going to come through the bars. So here we go. I'm going to hand a little bit of a treat to them. Now at first you only want to hand, let's say, one treat to them before immediately switching out your hand so that the rats realize that, oh, your hand's still coming through. I still shouldn't bite everything that comes through the cage bars. So next we're going to feed a little more treats, and we're just going to switch this up every single time. Maybe you feed 2 treats one time and then you just poke about. Maybe you poke the rat and you slide your fingers around in the bars and then you feed a treat, or maybe you don't feed a treat at all. Just continue to switch this up so the rats never know what's going to happen. And after a while, you'll be able to just touch your rats through the bars, give them food, and never need to worry about them biting you by accident. Okay, so now some people might say, so why exactly would you train your rat not to bite things that come through the bars? And the biggest reason that comes to mind here for me is that other people, let's say especially toddlers or other family members, aren't going to know that you shouldn't feed or touch a rat through the bars. So the best thing to do is to train your rat how they need to behave in this situation. This is exactly the same thing as training your dog not to bite or do any sort of aversive behavior when they are hugged or squished in a way that ordinary people, or even, let's say, little kids especially, might do. Because if your dog isn't used to it, okay, they might go, oh God, this is a threat, and they might bite immediately. So you want to teach them beforehand that, oh, in this situation, this is the behavior I should do. So in the rat's case, it's a very similar thing. We want to teach them beforehand that anything coming through the bars should first be sniffed before they decide to bite. Now I'm going to give you one story here that is going to cement this idea. So when I first got Latte, Latte here is a really sweet rat. She is absolutely amazing, and I absolutely love her so much because she would never hurt a fly. But what happened when I first got her was on the second day home, my brother came in, and he had just washed his hands like I told him. He goes to pet Latte, he's just gonna touch her through the bars, she chomps him really hard. So there's blood everywhere, he immediately retracts his hand, and Latte, she didn't mean to bite him, so she immediately lets go and she goes away, and she is not happy, he's not happy, and all around it was bad because for the 2 months after that, he was terrified of my rats. Even Shadow, who had never ever bitten or nipped him, he would not go near her because he was so afraid they were going to bite. So what turned out to be the issue in my brother's case was that he had washed his hands with a soap that smelled like, I think it was peaches or some sort of fruit, and so immediately Latte thought, okay, this is food, I should bite it. Now this is just a really easy example. He wasn't even sticking his fingers that far in, he was just like touching her on the side, and this was a rat that had never lived in a cage with bars before because she came from PetSmart, and this is also a rat that was never fed through the bars. So yes, it can and does happen, and in these situations you want your rats to be prepared and have the correct behavior so that they don't accidentally bite a guest or a family member or someone who's just not used to or doesn't know the rules around the rat cage. So I hope this was helpful to anyone who's having issues with this. If you have a cage-aggressive rat, then I highly recommend you deal with that first because they are going to feel very threatened by something coming in the cage, and it is not a simple matter of just conditioning them that not only food comes into the cage like with the other girls. So in the case of my Berry, she would severely bite anything that came through the cage bars for the longest time, but not because she thought it was food, she knew it wasn't, but because she was very cage territorial and aggressive. So once we dealt with those issues, I was able to deal with the cage aggression issues through the bars by doing the same method here. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!